Okay guys, Capitalist Educator here once again with a quick one for you today. Got a YouTube post for you that I'm actually going to take from my explanation on Facebook. So kind of wrote it out, and I'm gonna put it in video as well. So here you go, liberals. Let's try an experiment. Let's put 20 people in a room. Let's have in that room a bunch of very large blocks. Let's tell everybody in that room that, well, for every block moved from one end of the room to another, there will be $2 given. And with the amount of time and work and effort it would take to move that block from one side of the room to the other, it would equal about $10 an hour for those moving the blocks. However, we're going to tell everybody in the room that no matter how much effort you put in, everyone receives an equal share of the payment. Well, you can see where this is going, I'm sure. Now, let's try some experiment again. Let's change it a little bit. Let's put 20 people in that room, big pile of blocks. Let's tell them that for every block you move, you get $2. For every additional block you moved, you get an additional 10-cent bonus compensation on top of your $2. That compounds. In other words, your first block you get $2, the second one $2.10, the third one $2.20, the third one $2.30, and so on. But of course, there's a limited number of blocks to be able to move, so there will be competition for the blocks. Well, the outcome's obvious. Firstly, in the first instance, some will work harder than others, but for a different reason. And in the second instance, it'll take much longer to move the blocks from one end of the room to the other because there won't be the motivation, and there'll be some resentment for those who are not pulling their own weight. It's happened over and over again. There are examples of this all throughout history. For those of you who don't know, the United States, before it was a country, in the times of the Pilgrims, was a communist-type society, which ended abruptly in less than 2 years because of everybody getting mad at the individuals in the society, in that group, that weren't pulling their own weight, that were taking and taking and taking, and calls, well, if somebody else comes to work and I still get the proceeds, why should I work? It's human nature to some extent, unfortunately. Second one, there'll be competition for the rocks. They'll get moved faster, meaning more production will be done. The ones who work harder will get more compensation, but also get rewarded more because of the extra 10 cents. Will be kind of like a promotion for their harder work. The more you work, the more you get paid in dollar-wise, plus the more per amount of work that you produce, that you'll more force, more production. So this is an exact great example of why equal outcomes doesn't work, because somebody will always put in less work. If we had equal outcomes for equal input, that's obviously why we have courts. But on that same point, equal outcomes just doesn't work, no matter what kind of work you put in. It just doesn't work. It's never worked. It's been tried in communist countries which have failed across the world. It's been tried in experiments, and it hasn't ever worked, not once. Why do these people want to keep trying to do it? Now we have the liberal argument that the compensation is limited. These people aren't getting paid what they're supposed to or what they deserve or whatever. Well, quite frankly, nobody deserves more than that $9 an hour who hands somebody a burger in a bag at McDonald's. It's a starter job. It's not meant to be a job to raise a family. And mostly it's not. If you look at the statistics of who works in minimum wage jobs, it's teenagers and first starters. It's retired people making extra income to support their Social Security and their retirement. It's something like 22% are people earning second incomes. First of all, minimum wage isn't a living wage because people aren't going to those jobs to live on it. People are going to those jobs as their first job. People are going to those jobs for extra income. Secondly is, when I talk about the equal input, the input isn't just the fact that I go out there and I try and I work and I hand somebody their hamburger and I expect my $9 an hour, the input is I need to go to school to better myself. I need to take responsibility for myself as well, not just in the amount of work I put in, but to make myself more attractive to an employer, to make myself more valuable, and to earn more. Because when you have a skill, you demand more money than if you don't have a skill. I don't see where that's that difficult. So go back to it. Okay, number one, I work at McDonald's. Well, this sucks. I'm going to work at Burger King. Well, wait a minute. Wendy's pays, 50 cents more an hour. Now I'm going over there. So here, next, my fourth employer, here's my resume. I worked here 6 months. I worked here 3 months. I worked there 2 months. Well, why won't you hire me? Gee, I don't get it. It's back to your responsibility again to build your value. Well, look, I sat in this low-end job for a year and a half, if that's what it takes, because I'm not that smart, to say, because I wanted to build my value to that company. I don't feel it's being appreciated. Mr. Next Employer, can you compensate me more for my production and for my loyalty to your company, coming here and learn, and my knowledge and all that kind of stuff. So the two sides of it are that you have to be responsible yourself to some extent to better yourself to get that better outcome. And that better outcome is achievable in America, no matter what you liberals say. Yes, you can go out there and work at McDonald's and better yourself and have a roommate situation. Don't have a kid at frickin' 17 years old. Don't do all this stuff. Be a little bit responsible. Take some of that money, live at home or whatever you got to do, and go put yourself into a little 6-month certificate program at your community college where you're making $10, $50, $11 an hour now as a nurse assistant or whatever, or a phlebotomist or something else. So it's really, really, really not that hard. What you people understand or thinking, I don't know. I can assume that you're only thinking you hate rich people, so we got to have a reason to tax. We got to have a reason to take it because we don't ever want to build up the poor. We want to tear down the rich to make everybody equal, and that's basically what it keeps coming down to: a reason to tax, a reason to tax, a reason to tax. And that's evident by the fact that at no point whatsoever, other than let's give somebody more wages they didn't earn, higher minimum wage, let's give somebody this, let's give somebody that, you never ever structure anything to help people earn a better living for themselves, be it increasing the amount of business and the amount of economy in America so that they have the opportunity with more jobs available to them, or, come down to actually making them responsible for themselves in school and teach them how to do this stuff as far as, going out there and building a good resume and building good jobs. All I hear about is, well, I need more money, because there's a reason to tax. Well, no, America is 46 out of 50, I think it is, or we're like fourth from the bottom in education standards out of the industrialized world, but we're like sixth from the top in how much we spend per pupil. Well, if it was just more money, we'd have the damn 6 smartest kids in the world. It ain't about the money. It's about these people taking responsibility to be parents. It's about these people taking responsibility to have a 2-family home and a father in the home. And the evidence glares at you, but you don't care about it because all you want is your precious liberalism. You want to take money from the evil rich who you hate, and that's all you care about, because if you didn't, you would actually be giving us some sort of plan that would work instead of the rants and raves that you do. And I'm done. Thank you. Have a good day.